All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I want to give all honor and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Echakurash. We say, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Bahashem, Echakurash. And we give double honors to our apostles and our elders, which is apostle elders, that great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushai. Let's jump right into it. This is a World War III update. Things are happening. Quickly, man. All right, I watched this story yesterday, and then I got another updated story from Scott Ritter. He's just going in because I've been watching. I watched him leading up to this, and he somewhat predicted it, but didn't think it would happen because of the severity and the consequences. And now Babylon has fell into the trap. All right, the title of this lesson is "The Wicked is Losing, Prophecy is Winning." Prophecy is winning, the wicked is losing, the trap is set. Should be something on those lines. All right, because what you see happening now is a breakdown of the rulership of Babylon the Great and the Edomites today. All right, including the elite ruling class that pulls the strings behind, and everybody's aware of it. It's not something that we're pulling out of it. We're not. It's not conspiracy theories no more, because they're usually nuts. I guess them nuts were right. Okay, them nuts were right on time. They were pistachios. They cracked the code really. All right, but this is given and given through us through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. It's not of our own will. It's not of our own power that we know these things. So going back to Elijah, knowing the secrets of what was going on in those times, we know that it says the Lord revealeth the secrets to the servants, the prophets. So the Lord has given us the knowledge and wisdom before it comes. We knew this war was going to happen, starting with our apostles and elders and their leaders that taught them the breakdowns and gave them the breath. And the Lord has continued that. He's continued this wisdom through different men. And then now you see what's going on now is prophecies coming to pass. All right. Now we're close, because these things we're the closest we've ever been. That's why we're waiting and we're expecting. We're looking for the MOTB to be around the corner. However they're going to pull it, however they're going to play that card, we're watching for it. That's why it says watch as well as pray. Okay, because now we're trimmed with the lamps have been trimmed, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding has went out. Now the judgment can come. So what you see taking place now is a scrambling, and every move that's being made is going towards that final point. Okay. So this is an interview on legitimate targets with Jackson. I think that's it. But this is fair use. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only. I only want to play the first couple parts of this because he goes in. All right. He's not pulling any punches when it comes to what is taking place. And he's a seasoned. He's an Army inspector, and he served in the military, so he knows what he's speaking about concerning some of these strategies and some of these moves that have been made. All right, so let's play this. This is fair use. Fair use. This is for educational purposes only.
I think the U.S. expected that once decapitation or I'll put decapitation in quotes, of Iranian leadership occurred, and followed by attacks against the security apparatus of Iran, that we would have seen a collapse of the regime and people apparently going out in the streets and taking matters into their own hands. This is what the president urged. This is what Pete Hegseth has urged. Lindsey Graham has urged. And it just shows an absolute disconnect from reality. You kill the supreme leader of Iran. You kill one of the most revered religious figures in the Islamic world. One of the top religious figures in the world. This is the equivalent of killing the Pope, of killing the Archbishop of Canterbury, of killing Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. And you're killing a man who sits at the head of not just an Islamic republic where vilayat-i faqih, or the supreme jurisprudence, is a thing, meaning this man is the conduit.
So it was all set up. This is show you why it's going to cascade out of control, because now even Saudi Arabia is speaking up against what's going on because of the lack of protection. All right, this is shaking up things beyond. People talked about it, but they didn't know what the response was going to be. But our aunt said, hey, you better, just like that person you try to beat up and they tell you, you try to get into a fight with them and they trying to tell you, hey, you better not do it. You better not do it. But my mind, what I'm thinking is that they, if they keep hitting the targets the way they are, they're going to try to respond back with something that's a little bit unconventional. But, that's, we'll see. But if whatever is happening after this is going to trigger something, it's going to trigger something. No, and if it calms, and and the possibility of it calming down, because we have to wait on this financial system. But this could also be the catalyst and the domino that pushes the financial system to an end. Because this is a global, because we know the elites control the new digital currency, however it's going to come. Okay, because these other groups, if they can make Babylon the fall guy, and then turn around and put that new infrastructure into place, because the dollar is not going to be dominant. Okay, it's going to take it's going to go from a dominant world reserve currency to just a world reserve currency. So these elites will not need to switch hegemonies or switch world powers anymore. It's just going to be a permanent fix. It's going to be a one says do it, one says it all. Just like then the implementation of a credit-based system, because everybody's used to credit now anyway. So they have already groomed the people to know that the credit plays an important part in your life. Okay, when you want to make different decisions, and when it comes to you making moves that big purchases or anything like that, you got to have good credit. Okay, so to move in the society to come, you're gonna have to have that good credit, and then people are already gonna be knowing how that goes, and the fixation that you have this current world when it comes to that credit number. So let's keep playing.
To God, you just killed the conduit to God, but also a faith. The Twelver branch of the Shia faith. Is premised on the notion of the martyrdom of Hussein at the Battle of Karbala. And so you just martyred the most revered religious figure in a religion that reveres martyrdom. What do you think is going to happen? The collapse or the gelling, the coming together of the nation? And that's what's happened now. The Iranian people are more united now than ever before. They are committed to the defense of Iran. You're not going.
Now we get this real quick. This is the book of Job. This is Job 18, verse 8 in the message. Here's the rules. The light of the wicked is put out. See? Their flames die down, and it is extinguished. Their house goes dark. And what should come to your mind? The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That is no more. That's why it says there's no more wisdom in teeming. Okay, so there's no more understanding when it comes to the wicked and the moves that they're making, because they're being pushed by the prophecies. They have to get things done, because if they don't get things done, that's why it says the devil is come down having great wrath, knowing that he hath but a short time. So that short time, they know the time clock. It's not like they don't. They know the prophecies. They know the time we're living in is the time of the end, the redeeming and the judgment of Babylon the Great, different parts of the planet Earth, and the redeeming of the Negro, Latino, and Native American. They know by now. Who doesn't know the Israelites? At least heard about it, came across the camp, or heard some kind of exposed video through TikTok, because people love to scroll now. So that's why the Lord made it he said, I should make you a byword, a spectacle. All right, these things are still in a society that cherishes publicity, period, no matter how it comes. So that publicity that's been on the Israelites is still showing a lot of, because in this society, people don't like good things. We're in a wicked world, so only way you're gonna grab attention is if you put it in a negative light, or you have some kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You have some kind of beef, or it's got some kind of spicy content. That's the only way you're gonna turn. Going back to the thing with World Star, everybody that was getting into a fight was yelling out World Star. People are into, they like drama. So if you add drama to it, people are gonna watch it just for the drama. But then they're not knowing, they're also marking themselves, and the elect that hears it is gonna wake up. So it's a dual-sided coin. It's perfect. Okay, and it says, If the flames die down and is extinguished, their house goes dark. Every lamp in the place goes out. Their strong strides weaken, and that's the pomp that these elites had. That we can't lose. It's our way of the highway. That's going to an end because they never thought that the Heavenly Father would return to His people. We've been asleep for a long time, going back to Ezekiel the 37th chapter. The valley of dry bones, we consisted of that because we lost the knowledge and wisdom of who we are. Even as Isaiah says that you shall discontinue from thy heritage, which I gave thee. So as we discontinue from our heritage, we lost our ways. We went into sleep, a hibernational state. I call it a cocoon. The curses were a cocoon for us. We were in that cocoon, which is a constraint, straits, which is a confined area. That's what the curses were. But then the Lord now has redeemed us, and now we are being turned into that flying new creature. That's why I says I shall make you a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. So that's a transformation right there from one thing to another. We were considered a worm and powerless. Now we're going to be considered a new sharp threshing instrument. All right, because spiritual power it plays a big role in the times that we're living in. It says their strong strides weaken, falter. They stumble into their own traps. See that? They stumble into their own traps. Read it here in the NLT. It says the wicked walk into a net. They fall into a pit. That's why the title of this lesson is the trap. The trap is sprung. Okay. The prophecies is winning. The wicked is losing. The trap is sprung. The Lord got this man. He can't move. He can't go back. He has to move forward. There's no going back into the darkness, putting everything back and trying to pick it up later on down the line. You can't do that. And then Elder Yashawamba out of Dallas, he went and did that video concerning the planetary alignments and was speaking about they have to move with. That's why it says stand now. Oh, I got it. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. Did I get it? I did pull it up. Hold on. It's right here. Here we go. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 12. It says, now use your magical charms. Use the spells you have worked at all these years. Maybe they will do you some good. Maybe they can make someone afraid of you. See? Stand now with thy King James Version. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, because all you see from the news to the food to the different things that you see in the society are fueled by magic. Okay. That's why you have Hollywood, the movies industry, the whole Hollywood area, even the name itself goes back to witchcraft. So all that this man has done is built his society on the back of witchcraft. So now the Lord is saying through the prophets and through the prophecies is saying, now see if your witchcraft, your spells, sacrifices, all these things that are now coming out. Even the stuff with Baal, all those things, they're now coming out because the Lord had to reveal those things. Just like you pull out evidence. You have to have evidence out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Okay, we have the witnesses, which represents the prophets that are on the 4 corners of the planet Earth. And to back that up, you read the book of Revelation where it says the 2 witnesses, which represents the northern and the southern tribe, which represents us being redeemed. Because when the Lord sets up judges, all right, also known as watchers, okay, he says, I've set watchmen upon thy walls, which shall never hold their peace. Read the book of Psalms, the 19th chapter, all right, to see that how the Lord was going to use the internet to propagate and to push the word out to the 4 corners of the planet Earth. Also, starting at going out of Harlem by a great man we believe is Elijah in the reincarnation by the man named Abba Bivens, that came and started this and was that seed, that mustard seed that bloomed out to what you see today. All right. So let's keep playing this. Let's go back to YouTube.
Going to scare them. You're not going to intimidate them. You're not going to bomb them into submission. Moreover, the Iranians were prepared for this, not in terms of protection of the leadership, although it appears that Ali Khamenei willingly went to his baker. He was at home. in a tragically, a pre-scheduled meeting with his granddaughter, 14-month-old girl who was killed. But
Savage. Savage. If any nation would have done that, there would have been uproars all over the world, man. You know, it's not just getting the leader. You got a 14-year-old child, man, a 14-month-old. So the time we had, but there's no one perish being innocent. But all these people that are here today is that generation that the Lord promised would not pass away. So we don't know who's the players in this thing. We just are playing it out. This is the greatest movie ever told. So that's that information. Hold on. Let's get this one right here.
Nothing to return to. You've got to rebuild.
Let's go back here because show you that the faintness.
Nowadays that are done this.
And this was done about
the collapse of.
We don't know. Additionally, at times there are drones.
Iran dropped its guard yet again before a surprise attack. But, he, as Garland said, he was confronted by, his generals who said no, but it was too late. He had already said yes. He had already told Netanyahu. But
let's go back.
Like the guy after a long day.
That video.
Okay, here we go.
This thing is a catastrophe of biblical proportions. Hopefully not, but it has the potential to be.
Well, let me bring you in, Scott. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Ritter, former weapons inspector. I want to show you guys this here. I don't think Donald Trump was prepared for this. Iran hit 14 countries in one night. You can see a map here of all of these targets here. I'll get to the Saudi Arabia part a little bit later because there's so much different information coming from that angle. But I want to show you guys the look on Donald Trump's face. Check this out. Scott, what are your thoughts? To me, it looks like Donald Trump does not look. I don't know. He doesn't.
Say the king of bad, the cool Lord's hands shall wax weak. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but as you see in that day, this ain't even the missiles yet. When the missiles hit, that's gonna just devastate, because reality is gonna set in. There's no going back from this. There's no turning back. This is something that is a cataclysm for other things to take place. So we witnessing it, man. That pulp, it wasn't anticipated. That's why I said the trap has been sprung. This was a trap. This was not anticipated. The get back and the intensity that was going to take place, okay, from these other nations, or from Iran itself against these other nations and against the bases. And he's going to speak about it. He speaks about it in the last video where he says their goal now is to push Babylon out of the Middle East. So that ain't gonna happen without a big fight or a Hail Mary, literally. Okay, so we gotta watch because if Babylon's back is against the wall, there's no telling what could happen. So it's not just, they're mad and in their feelings, but they also are considering that, damn, this man could do anything. And the world, like it says, the world is watching.
Look confident in that video.
Well, I said that from the start when you take a look at the video that was released in Mar-a-Lago announcing the beginning of this conflict. It was just extraordinarily low energy. Now people can say because it was at 2 a.m. and after a long day. Do you remember when Donald Trump was campaigning for president? He was putting in unbelievably long days. I mean, he was just traveling here, there, and everywhere. But he would finish each day doing a rally. And these rallies were high energy events. And whether you like the guy or not, you just had to sit there and go, wow, there's some energy there. And you could see he was excited, forceful. Announcing this war, he was just low energy, not enthused, and he's been that way ever since. I think that this is a conflict that was thrust upon him. There's a story going around when Bill Clinton first met with Benjamin Netanyahu after he became president. When it was done, he was shouting at his staff, who the hell does he think he is? I'm the president of the United States. How can he talk? But the point is, as far as Benjamin Netanyahu is concerned, you're just a client. You're a client of the Israeli enterprise, and you're here to.
That's why it says the least. Now that's prophecy. He's not. This is living prophecy, man. That's why it says the least of the flock shall bring him out. So you this is clearly saying that they were brought in by the small toppers, okay? The party hats. That's what he's saying without saying it. And that show you that this is all a biblical play right here. So we know that whatever's going to happen next is going to be this. It's going to follow the biblical narrative, because that's what's taking place right now. It's not some regular thing or some everyday, a skirmish. This is biblical proportion. What did it say? Biblical proportion. Okay. So that's it on that. You can watch that video. I just wanted to bring out. He says a whole bunch of stuff on there, but just to update. And just from an analytical person that has been in the military and sees it, that this is not a wise thing that was taking place. All right, not at all. So let's go here. This is the book of Ezekiel 16 and verse 37. And it says, therefore I am going to gather all your lovers with whom you found pleasure, those you loved as well as those you hated. I will gather them against you from all around and will strip you in front of them, and they will seek to it says, and they will see you stark naked. This is the book of the Amplified. Therefore, listen, I will gather all your lovers, pagan allies, okay, with whom you took pleasure, and all those whom you loved with all those whom you hated. I will even gather them against you from every direction and will expose your nakedness to them, that they may see your nakedness, making you, Israel, an object. And it was speaking about back then against us. And that fulfilled in the time of what you call the 70 AD, pushed us into the interiors of Africa. We started to taste the curses. The curses came in increments. It wasn't put on us. That's why the Lord said he didn't, we're stripping, but we're not destroyed, because if the Lord would have put all those on us at one time and he could have done that, that would have been heavy blows. Each one of those were heavy blows. Each one of those being taken into captivity, that's a heavy ass blow. If you read Deuteronomy 28th chapter, all those curses are heavy blows, man. The breaking down of the nuclear family, okay, or the Hebrew family, all right, giving reins to these women to do whatever the hell they want, which is not natural. Okay, that's why women look to be, even if they find they say a supposed bad boy, they really just finding them because they make them feel that they have to be under his will. Okay, that danger right there. But men were dangerous, period, back in the ancient world, because you had things to fear, especially if you was committing adultery or something along those lines. It says, I will even gather them against you from every direction and will expose your nakedness to them, that they may see all your nakedness. And that's Epstein file stuff is a part of it. And nakedness, making you, Israel, an object of Salakia, of loathing and mockery, a speechless among the nations. So there you go. All right, the Lord is pushing ahead, man. He's doing things. This is Revelation 17 and verse 16. Read it in the NLT. It says, The scarlet beast and the 10 horns all hate the prostitute. They will strip her naked, even her flesh, and burn her remains with fire. So that's what you call they're gonna tear and do certain things that Babylon does not pay, is not for Babylon's interest. Okay, and then the final and most horrific thing is gonna be those fires, man. All right. It's gonna be the fires that are let loose to dance in the land of Babylon, man. Okay, so I just want to bring that quick update. I know we'll have more updates coming out. You know, you got to keep watch, keep your eyes peeled and see what's gonna go and come down the pipe. You know, so with that, I say, Lord willing, it was edifying lesson. With that, I say, call Allah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Echak. Until next time, I say Shalom, and more now than ever, keep faith. Shalom. We almost home, Akiyam. And few sisters that do watch, you know, we're in the time of really just locking in and doing what you can to progress this truth, doing what you can to allow Yabashim Al-Shai to grow in your hearts, man, all right? Because we going to need them more now than ever. So with that, I say shalom, and we're more now than ever. Keep faith. Shalom.